How many of you have ever seen this notification on one of your devices? Maybe a computer, maybe a cell phone. A new version of your software is available for download. And how many of you have actually ignored that message? I know I have. I'm too busy. I'll do it later. Remind me tomorrow. What happens if you ignore it over and over again? Well, your computer begins to slow down and you get angry at it. Your computer ends up not running like it should. Viruses eventually take your computer, and worst case scenario, it can crash. Who's had their computer crash? Then you have to go to the computer store, and you don't have time for that. If you look at this analogy, it's very similar to our lives. We are constantly getting notifications, or even in some cases, red flags, and yet we continue to click that ignore button. We have chances for ourselves to upgrade, to run more efficiently. A lot of you have this message constantly popping up in your real life, and yet you keep clicking decline. No plan B income. Your health is declining. You've become numb to who you truly are and what you're meant to do in this world. And for some of you, yes, some of you, you have the exact roadmap to fulfill your dreams, but you have not yet stepped into your leadership role. So back to the computer. Why on earth would you update it? Because it fixes your operating systems. It fixes the errors. It makes it run more efficiently and gives it the best overall chance for a successful performance. If we look at what our company has done in the past year, we have definitely upgraded our software. We have challenged adversity. We've looked deeply at who we are, why we do what we do. We've birthed a new brand. We've upgraded our product innovation and more. The mantra of always bettering ourselves runs deep through the veins of our company. We are leading the charge globally. We are setting the stage for the world. Now it's time for us to step up. It's time for you 2.0. So if you're ready, and if you're really ready, no matter where in the world you are watching this, maybe you're at a barbecue, maybe you're at home and it's dark and you're trying to watch this right now and your little baby's sitting next to you, wherever you are, say, I'm ready. And say it like you mean it. Say it again. I'm ready. Your dog should be looking at you weird right about now. You got to mean it, because it's truly time for you and I to stop declining the update. Now, I don't think I'm too naive here to think it's just as simple as clicking a button. Friends, I'm here to share with you some straight facts. I have 10 years experience in this profession and with Isagenix. I'm going to take this decade of experience, and then in the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to lead you and share with you three major things we must implement into our lives when we are upgrading our software. So if you're ready, and if you're truly ready, grab your pen and paper. Let's do this. In life, you choose to accept terms and conditions. When is the last time you actually read one of those 13-page long mumbo-jumbo things? Has anyone actually read it? When I was presented with the Isagenix opportunity at the age of 23, I quickly realized, although I had support in learning this business, the only way it was going to grow is if I completely and totally took ownership and was willing to accept change. You see, at the time, I was working multiple jobs. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I wasn't in control of my life, but heck, did I want to be. In order to gain freedom, I had to discipline my activities. I had to work when other people wouldn't. And most importantly, stay consistent. I took complete responsibility for my actions. I agreed to the terms and conditions of building my dreams. The terms and conditions of learning new skills, like how to talk to people, what to say, how to present Isagenix, investing into going to events, really how to become a businesswoman. I had to accept that no one was going to show up at my house and make sure I did my reach outs. I also had to really commit to success. I had the expectation that someday I would get there. I just knew I would. I didn't know how long it would take, but I was and am committed to the journey. I committed to my own personal growth. I committed to Isagenix. I committed to immersing myself in it. I created a bubble around my life, and at some point, I just decided to live and breathe Isagenix. The development of my vision expanded. The development of myself expanded. I created an environment that supported the direction of my goals. Streaming through my home, through my ears, minute by minute, I was constantly listening to things, listening to people that reminded me of the greatness I had within me. No distraction, no negativity, no friends that would distract me. I dunked myself in the swimming pool of Isagenix. Things truly did not change for me until I committed to total immersion. Every word that went into my ears was feeding me, feeding my mind, my soul, my spirit with positivity. Inspirational examples were constantly in my life, reminding me of what I could accomplish if I stayed focused. If you choose to accept, I recommend making Isagenix the background music of your life. I get it if you have a job, but when it comes to your vision and your passion and your future, you must find a way to immerse yourself in it. Every superstar has found a way to immerse themselves in Isagenix. Once immersion happens, it's very easy to stay on track. And then, yes, do the work. I also had a tremendous amount of fear. I had to accept that. Fear of rejection, fear of what others might say. But honestly, what weighed on me more was the fear of what would happen if I gave up on my dreams. What would happen if I didn't follow through with my own personal commitments? That scared me way more. I believe hard work and happiness go hand in hand. And I'm not talking about digging ditches. I'm talking about building empires, something to call your own. You want to know when I'm the most happiest? It's truly when I'm contributing to others' lives. Growth and contribution is truly where it's at. To achieve anything extraordinary in life, it requires hard work. Let me ask you a question. Who has heard of the Mamba mentality? I'm sure, and I know, those of you that watch basketball, you already know what I'm talking about. But even if you don't, this is something you should take note of. When the late Kobe Bryant got asked, what does the Mamba mentality mean? He stated this: just trying to get better every day. It's the simplest form of just trying to get better at whatever it is you're doing. So good. Kobe was the type of guy that knew it was an everyday process. He had to go to work on his strengths and his weaknesses. He didn't have the best vertical compared to other NBA legends. In fact, I believe it was around a 40. Most have a 45, a 46. He had to go to work constantly on that. He had to constantly work on his grip just to be able to grip that basketball. He was quick, but not insanely quick. He was fast, but not ridiculously fast. Even though he was and it is truly a legend. He was considered, and still is considered, and will always be one of the best players to ever play the game. He had to rely on skill a lot more, and he had to go to work on himself every single day. He had to study the game more than his competition. This mindset and determination is the foundation of any hungry, driven businesswoman or woman, businessman or woman. So take this mentality and find a way to embody it. We must work on our skills that I mentioned every single day, my friends. The next thing we must do is delete old files. Delete them. Old files, photos, videos. We got to create room. We have to create space for the new to come into our lives. Some of you need to delete the idea that your mom is going to build your business, or you need to get over the person who left your business, or you need to stop blaming yourself for not growing fast enough in this business. I have to say this. Some of you will never step into your future because you are so stuck in living in your past. You seem to be trapped in the old. Meanwhile, the new is waiting. The upgrade is waiting. I have personally found when you fight against your past, you don't have the strength to fight for your future. Have you ever made mistakes in your life? Have you ever gone through some tough times? Have you ever wondered, when am I going to be free? Right now, what I want you to do is make a list of all the tough times you've been through so far in your life. Some of you, it's a lot more because you're a lot older. We all have tough times. We've all been through so much. Right now, I'm waiting. Do this. Write it down. I'll give you a few minutes. Think about this. It could have been a failed relationship. Could have been a failed test, even for some of you. It could have been a loss, a deep, tragic loss of a child, of a grandparent. It could have been a divorce. It could have been the loss of a business. Maybe you had to shut down your business. It could have been a loss of a job. It could have been losing a home. It could have been surviving a hurricane, a tornado, a natural disaster. Think about it. Maybe you've had an illness that you fought. Think about all these things you've gone through. Maybe you've had an ill child. Write them down, every single thing down. I want to remind you, after you did that, in case you don't realize, as you look at this list, guess what? You made it. You made it. You're still here. I'm willing to bet you are bigger, better, stronger because of it. You've learned. You've grown wiser. You see, the best way to defeat your past is to leave it in your past. You no longer live there. Stop fighting battles against your shadows. You need to accept you've been given freedom. Get your life filled with people that want to bring you into your future and not your past. If people keep bringing up the past, leave them behind. You're actually the sum of the total memories that you choose to carry with you. It's important to remember, but do not live there. Can you think of that person who's always talking about the good old days? Like the highlight of their life? Like, do you remember when I was all-time quarterback 30 years ago? And it's like literally what they talk about over and over again. Or do you remember someone or know someone who talks about when they crushed it in network marketing 20 years ago? And it's like they constantly talk about it. I have to say this. If you are living for the good old days, you are living in your past stories. If you're not careful, you're going to live on that past success. Tell the story, but don't live there. Let the momentum carry you on to the next one. I became a millionaire in this company when I was 26 years old, and I quickly realized that that cannot be the pinnacle of my life. If it is, I'm in big trouble. Some of you, however, are living your life for participation trophies. If you are ready to upgrade, you must welcome the new into your life. You must be willing to accept change. It's time for you to step up. Stop trying to have a new dream with the old you. It's time to create space for the new. The third and final thing you must do is install your antivirus protection software. I like to call this as your growth protection environment. To grow, to fulfill our true potential, we have to be in the right environment. I want to share with you a little inspiration from a tree. Yes, a tree, a palm tree. I live in Southern California, where there are a lot of beautiful palm trees. I've observed the beauty and majesty of these trees. They often measure about 30 to 40 feet tall. These giant trees are able to withstand a lot. Hurricanes, forced winds, as they blow over up to 200 miles per hour sometimes. Thousands of other trees, however, are uprooted. They're destroyed during the process of a storm. But the palms remain rooted. What is the palm's secret? It's flexibility. They bend down almost to the ground sometimes. And it's that very ability that allows them to remain unbroken. It's much like you, resilient, grounded. You have withstood the storms in your life, and you will continue to withstand them. When destructive energy comes along, you allow yourself to resist brokenness by bending. Decide to weather the storm by allowing it to blow through without resistance. Understand this, my friends. Palm trees, they bend, but they remain deeply rooted in the earth. Growth thrives in favorable conditions. You and I, we grow most when we surround ourselves with people and opportunities conducive to our development. What does a growth environment look like? Setting yourself up for success and not to fail. First, where do you work your Isagenix business? Where in your home do you work it? And then, when do you work it? This is imperative. Are you going to work it after your full-time job? Maybe for you, it's going to look like 8 to 10 p.m. at night. That's when you're going to have the ability, the time to work it. Or maybe you're going to work it in the nooks and crannies of your day during your lunch break. Or maybe, just maybe, you're going to start getting up at 5 a.m. so you can really build your life around Isagenix. How much time are you ready to devote to your business? Map it out. Establish a daily method of operation. Print off your executive roadmap. This is the tracks to run on, my friends. If you are not yet a paid as executive, fast track to executive.com is where you need to be. You need to focus on this. What you focus on expands. Put this in your work environment. Put this where you can see it everywhere. Have Post-it notes everywhere where you can see them. When I first got started on this journey, my life would and did truly change when I cycled 10 times a week. 10 times a week. So I put the number 10 everywhere. On the door, going outside of my home, to my kitchen cupboards, to even my drawer when I grab my spoon to feed myself my isolene shake. Literally everywhere on my vision board. What you focus on expands. You have to have this everywhere. And as soon as you hit 10, guess what? Let's raise the game. Go to 15, go to 20. It's imperative for your success. If you're watching this and you're brand new, our first goal is to get you to consultant. Put that consultant status everywhere you can see it. Everywhere. If you're already consultant, when are we going to manager? Put manager everywhere. And then director, and then executive. It's so important. And then along with focusing on where you're going, you must immerse yourself in our products daily. Live the ISA life. Take your Ionics in the morning. Take your superfood shakes. Do your cleanse days. Live it, breathe it, become it. Immerse yourself in our culture. Get in the proper Facebook pages. Start talking to other people in Isagenix. Become a part of the community. Jump on our company calls. And then, of course, there will come a day when we all get together again in real life. And when that happens, get to an event. Sign yourself up every day. Every single day for the past 10 years, I make a decision when I get up what I will do today to move my life and business forward. I make a decision every single day, and even on the hard days, my friends. And yes, I still have hard days. When it comes to your growth, I want to share with you a secret. Instead of trying to make radical changes in a short amount of time, just make small improvements every day that will gradually lead to the change you want. Each day, just focus on getting 1% better in your business, life, health. That's it. Just 1%. I already know my overachievers are freaking out. She's talking about just 1%? Oh my goodness. Because you overachievers, I get it. You want to sprint. You want to do it all. But let's be real. A lot of you cannot sustain it. So you start and you stop, and you start and you stop, and you're here today and you're gone tomorrow, and then you come around next month. You're setting yourself up for failure. You see, in the beginning, there is basically no difference between making a choice that is 1% better or 1% worse. In other words, it won't impact you very much today. But as time goes on, these small improvements or declines, they compound. And suddenly you find a very big gap between people who make slightly better decisions on a daily basis versus those who don't. Here's the punchline. If you get 1% better each day for 1 year, that's 37 times better by the time you're done. This is why small choices don't make much of a difference, but they truly add up over the long term. Let's take a look at your business. You'll never see a story or a recognition post that says, girl reaches out to 100 people this week. You'll see a story that says, girl hit executive. Am I right? Here's some examples. And you must know that every action you take is a vote for the new person you become. Your habits reinforce a new identity. Okay, so just to give you an example, your daily method of operation, 1% better for you could be reaching out to 3 new people a day. You can do that. I can do that. Exercise. Miss fewer workouts. Start leaving your gym shoes by your bed at night. Have a gym buddy. Nutrition. Take your Ionics. Take your Ionics and get in 1 to 2 shakes per day. You see, in the real world, it's often easier to improve your performance by cutting the downside rather than by capturing the upside. Subtraction is more practical than addition. One of the best ways to make big gains is to avoid tiny losses. Measure backward and then get a little bit better. What did you do last week? How can you improve just a little bit this week? Understand this, my friends. Habits do not restrict freedom, they truly create it. The cost of your good habits are in the present. You must be consistent. Some of you, you're ready. You know it all. You know so much about the products. You know, you are a walking, talking billboard. But the reason you're not succeeding is because you're not consistent yet. Yet, keyword. You start and you stop. You start and you stop. You start and you stop. Just start doing something consistently, little by little. If you can do something for 21 days, you'll never have to think about it. Contact 3 people a day, and it keeps your business in play. Start practicing that. And when you get to 21, you're going to realize how simplistic it is. It's going to become a part of your daily method of operation. There is power in consistency. I hope you have a better idea at this point what is required for you to upgrade your software. And then guess what, my friends? You wait. Yeah, I know, that's not glamorous. But it's in the waiting. It's in the waiting during the updating process that is oftentimes the most difficult. You just want to use your computer or your phone. You want to use it, but you must wait. And that's where patience comes into play. That's where you must persevere while you're waiting. You must continue developing yourself while you're waiting for your moment to lead a team. You must connect with others and share Isagenix. And sometimes, yes, wait for that right person that comes into your organization that could change it all. Sometimes it's in the waiting that sometimes seems the most painful, the most difficult, but that truly is where perseverance comes into play, and it makes this journey worthwhile. I want to remind you of people that have continually upgraded themselves. They have continually clicked yes on the upgrade button. Through the fears, through the setbacks, through the disappointments, through the mistakes, they persist. This is my great friend, Lynn. You see, Lynn is world-renowned now as a network marketer. But I want you to know, she once wasn't this way. She was shy, she was quiet. She was an occupational hand therapist for 13 years. She loved her career, but she had this constant struggle in her soul of balancing a full-time job with parenting her 3 kids, putting them in the car, taking them to daycare when it was dark out and cold out in the Midwest. It was just too much. Lynn knew she couldn't keep trying to do it all, and she was getting nowhere. Something had to change. She also always considered herself a shy person and wasn't sure about picking up the phone and calling people. But her why was stronger and she jumped in anyway. Before long, she was contributing to the family's income, and she didn't stop. Through relentless determination and her enthusiasm for putting others before herself, she realized that she could have, be, and do anything, and she literally has stepped in to the most dynamic, inspirational trainers in the world because she persisted and she accepted the upgrade. My great friend Laura Stevens, an incredible mom today of 5 kids. It wasn't always easy for her. You see her life now, but I want you to know her husband was deployed to Iraq when she decided to jump in with both feet to Isagenix. He was gone serving the United States of America. And thank you to all those that serve. But Laura built like crazy, and she started helping everyone. Meanwhile, she was at home basically as a single parent while building this business. And she ended up exponentially growing their business when he was gone. She went from 3 to 7-star. That's insane. That's incredible. And now her and her husband, they work hand in hand, building their dream team. And they share this with whoever is willing to dream big enough. I want you to know that she persisted and she accepted the upgrade. James McLeod, my buddy James McLeod, a little over 4 years ago, he found himself finishing college. He was working hard to better himself both physically and financially. He pursued a goal, all of these goals. This is just who he is, with great integrity and fortitude. But it really became evident to him that he was getting nowhere fast, and he needed the right vehicle to achieve his dreams. In walks Isagenix, and I will tell you, he was a hard sell at first, and I'm sure his wife Audrey would say the same. But once he saw it, he realized what he had in the palm of his hand. So he went to work on himself as a man, as a young man, despite the disapproval of just about everyone in his life, paired with the acceptance of him stepping into the new, him talking differently, looking differently, growing as a man. He didn't care though. He knew that he had to take radical responsibility for his own growth plan, which often, as he says, didn't feel sexy or glamorous at all. But James persisted anyway, and he accepted the upgrade. Eric Hoover, you might know him. You see, he's the co-founder's son, but he's so much more than that. He grew up having his parents, we know them, the most extraordinary people. He grew up having to form his own identity. And as a champion, he went to ASU, pursued professional golf, and even when his family started this company, he was a little rebel who wanted to take other shakes until he really realized what Isagenix was and what they were doing. And he stepped in and he learned how to work every department within this company. He learned what you and I go through. And he started to step in and literally become one of the most selfless leaders I have ever met. And I've met a lot of leaders. He has led the charge for the millennials. He is driven to teach young people ages 18 to 35 how to design their life and to create freedom and a lasting legacy and to contribute. Eric is doing so much. He's spearheading our company's strategic vision and helping lead the next evolution of Isagenix. He has a passion for our environment, And he is bent on making sure that our sustainability initiatives come into place. And our goal was zero waste packaging by 2028. Let me tell you, he is running that. As a young executive, Eric is a role model. He's a true role model. I want you to know that he has been awarded Marketing Executive of the Year by the American Business Awards. He's extraordinary. He recently completed his executive education program for the leadership development at Harvard. He just keeps going. He just keeps persisting because he wants his legacy to last. He wants to be remembered, though, not just as a man who works. He wants to be remembered, and he wants to be an example, to be a present husband, a present father to him and Peta's two beautiful kids. And as someone who genuinely cared about humanity, I have watched him, I have witnessed Eric continually persist and accept the upgrade. Kathy Coover. She did not have to say yes to starting Isagenix in 2002, but she did. She pushed past her fears because she knew the legacy she wanted to create. She is known as one of the industry's most influential women. I want you to know that. Her career spans over 25 years. She has risen to the top of 3 separate companies. But in 2002, she decided to join forces with Jim, who we're so grateful for, to form Isagenix. And she has spent the last 2 decades helping countless families reshape their financial future and regain a healthier outlook on their life. She's been awarded as well. The American Business Awards honored Kathy as the most prestigious woman because of her unwavering commitment to always bettering and helping others. She was a dental hygienist before she got into our great profession. She knows what it's like to work hard. It wasn't until Jim suggested she try network marketing that she finally realized she could contribute to the family's household while staying home raising Eric, who was a toddler at the time. It was then she became passionate about direct selling. And she went to work on herself. She told me personally, she started practicing affirmations. She made herself a vision board, and she has constantly worked on herself as a woman. In turn, is a ripple effect, serving other people. She is a true advocate for all women, and she helps empower all of us every single day to live our best lives. For future generations, this company will be in place. She has helped pour her heart into this entire company. Isagenix will be around forever. It'll be around for her grandkids, your grandkids, and mine. Her hope is that Isagenix will always be looked up to. And it's known for, really, its commitment, for doing it right, for being the company who does it right. Kathy has persisted and accepted the upgrade. Are you inspired yet? I am. It's time. It's time. The download is almost complete. But in order for it to download, you must restart your computer. Personally, we must re-examine our motives. We must reprioritize our commitments. You have the ability to create a ripple effect. The actions you take will affect others in direct proportion to the energy you put into them. You take great action, you'll see great results from your ripple effect. You take small action, you'll see a small ripple effect. Your ripple effect is expanding and spreading to everyone you touch. It's just as easy to dream big than it is to dream small. Your imagination is the greatest gift you have for your future. If you're going to put the effort into setting a vision and making a plan to achieve it, make it a big one. Make it a plan of greatness that starts now. You have the power within you to achieve greatness. I'll leave you with this. You can measure the IQ of any human, but you can never measure the heart, the drive, the hunger. You 2.0 is available to you at any moment. Will you accept this upgrade?
Wow.